Hi again, I am Fathom and I am the founder of Other Fiber Creations, and today we're gonna sit and just make a cute cow because I wanted to make a cow. There is no real reason. Well, there's kind of a reason. Let me attempt words. Sorry, it's like 8 a.m. I just finished my morning shower. Huh. I have done 2 craft fairs now. I'm planning to talk to you guys a bit more about it over the footage of me working on the cow. But one of the things I made for the craft fair was a cow, the second craft fair that is, and it sold, and so I want to make another one. My downside is I'm out of white yarn. I know, I already be saying it as I pick this up. I'm out of the white burnout blanket yarn. I have more of this loops and threads. I think it's Sweet Snuggles. I like this yarn okay. I don't like how much it sheds, which is why I have to, please, do a bit of this at the end. Not burn myself while I'm at it. There we go. I don't like having to pull out the lighter every time I cut an end, is my point. But I do it for my craft. I have some white of this. I don't have any black of that, though. I have black Bernat blanket. They are very clearly not the same yarn weight, and so I decided I'd mix things up. This is the green I used for the top of my Bushroom Boys, and I have some lighter green for like horns and stuff. And so my thought is I'll just make a green and white cow, and maybe on the spots I'll make some cute little flowers and sew them on, and he'll be like a little like gardeny cow, if that makes sense. I'm gonna see how I like the green and white cow first before I get too crazy. But yeah, I'm gonna get started on this, and over me working on stuff, I'll talk to you about how the craft fairs went and things I've learned from them. Let's do this thing. Pew, 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 pew. So, I attended my first craft fair on June 8th and my second one on June 15th. At the first craft fair, I made around $600, and at the second one, I made around $400. I was blown away by how well I did at both of these events. The main thing that I learned from all this is something that's kind of obvious for people who've sold at these craft fairs before. When they say to sell small items and that small items do better, they were not kidding. Small items were my biggest seller. In particular for me, it was my baby dragons, which are these really small no-sew dragons that are like handheld. My fidget shrooms, which are literally mushrooms with little poppable heads that are great silent fidget toys. And scrunchies, which I made spur of the moment like a year or two back. I didn't expect them to sell so well, but they did. I found that at the first event, I had a lot more people come in, visit my booth, but that wasn't due to my selection of items. That instead was due to the weather. The first event, it was 90 degrees, felt like 90. A bit warm for my taste as a Midwesterner, but people were out and about. I got sunburnt, but it wasn't uncomfortable at all. The second day, the 15th, I attended, and according to the weather, it felt like 102 degrees with humidity. It was hellish, for lack of a better word. I could not get cool. I ended up with a fever by the end of the day, and I came back home to my AC being out, so I had to stay somewhere else for the night. I was a wreck. I was upset, and I just could not get cool afterwards. During the event both days, people were super friendly. People loved to come in. A major thing that I made a point of was when they'd come in, I'd say, hey, welcome in. Feel free to touch anything you like. Anything made of yarn you see is for sale. And being allowed to pick up, touch, play with the items made a major difference. When they would first come in, some people were like, oh yeah, and just hands-on grabbing stuff. Some people were hesitant and seemed afraid to enter until I told them, don't worry, touch the things. I want you to touch them. Things with names did fantastically. I name my, not the baby dragons, you guys haven't seen those, but my dragons that you've seen before. Go ahead and click the information thing for that. Those dragons, people love the fact they were named. I let my boyfriend, Ethan, name them. People also loved the names of my big mushroom guys. You can see more about that also in the information card, whatever it's called. They bought the dragons because the dragons were in that under $40 price range. Neither of my big mushrooms sold, but I think that makes sense. Anything $40 and under was an easy buy for people. The smaller items, especially, were an even bigger buy for some people because it's just a couple of dollars. But the under $40 range was like the key sweet spot. Once I got over 40, I only made 1 or 2 sales in that range, which was a crop top and one of my shawls I've made. I think that's because, A, that's a lot of money to ask for in this economy, which makes total sense to me. And B, they don't know who I am as an artist. I've not been at these events long enough for people to kind of come in and recognize who I am, what my artwork is. And so to ask them not just to pay that amount, but to pay that amount blindly to somebody whose craftsmanship they've not seen over time, I would be scared to spend that amount too. So the fact that people took a chance on me felt really good. I, during my first event, ran a deal where people could buy items, because I was selling them. But if they bought any 2 items in my shop, I had these little Easter eggs with mini plushies in them. They were like mini Scrap-to-Pie, little mini leggy frogs, and they'd fit perfectly in these Easter eggs. And I didn't do that the second time to see what would happen. And the amount of impulse purchases people made just to get the little mini mystery plushie, through the roof, skyrocketed. It made a major difference. So if you're going to sell, I highly recommend doing a deal like that. But yeah, overall, the events went really well. I'm really hoping, now that I've kind of gotten into the rhythm of seeing what these craft fairs are like, that I can find the spoons to be able to film myself at one of them, film my setup, film more about the actual day as the day goes on, etc. Because these first ones, as much as I wanted to share with you guys as they were happening, I wanted to also make sure that I knew what I was doing and I didn't overwhelm myself, because the first one, I was overwhelmed. I did not expect it. I was caught off guard by a lot of it, and so it was very important to me that I put my attention towards it. In the second one, with the heat, I looked miserable, and I was not going to blast myself, sweating terribly, being snippy with people who were helping me because I was very overwhelmed and overheated. Wasn't going to do that. So yeah, that's about it on the front of things I learned. And now, back to me to talk about my finished project. It is the next morning, but here he is. I thought about adding flowers and stuff to these patches. I'm not so sure about that because I used a thinner yarn to make the patches, and so I'd have to find even smaller yarn for it to kind of match in, and I'm not so sure I want to do that. I ended up using, let me think about this, Loops and Threads, Sweet Snuggles in white, in green. I think this is Kombu green is what they call this one. It's like a heathered color. And then this is Bernat Velvet in pine for these spots. I forgot how much this yarn sheds. I'm not sure if you can see that I just pulled more shedding off of it. I had 2 full fistfuls yesterday by the time I went to take my break, and I use it to stuff one of my pillow forms that I have, but oh my god, there is so much, I'm not sure if you can see it again, that comes off of this yarn. So I had to double strand the Sweet Snuggles and the Bernat Velvet for the feet in order to get the proper magic circles done. I think I'm gonna leave him just green. I think it's a nice, cute way of doing it. He's got very big floppy ears. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed hearing words. Sorry, I'm half asleep. I hope you enjoyed hearing about the craft fairs that I've attended. I had a lot of fun with them, and I'm very excited to be doing more of them throughout the year. I have 2 that I was accepted for the full season for, Providence Market and Low Mill, that I can go between. And then after that, come December, I have one at Haven Farms. It's weird. If you had asked me a year ago if I thought I'd be selling at craft fairs, I'd be like, yeah, eventually. I would have thought I was doing it in like February, honestly. If I was going to be successful at craft fairs is a different question. I would have said probably not. But I am. I'm very pleased by it. And for now, we are going to thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, feel free to like, to comment, to subscribe. If you're going to do one of those 3 things, make it subscribing so you can see all the other eclectic little projects I get up to making. If you want to do more than that, you can find my Ribbler, my TikTok, my Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, all that jazz down in the description below. Today's question of the day is, what other colors of cow would you want to see? I was considering doing like a yellow and black one at some point, like Bumblebee, and like putting little wings on him. But I don't know. Let me know, what other colors of cow do you think that I should make? Let me know in the comments below. With that, thank you so much for watching, and bye for now.